You know, you all have such amazing, powerful stories, and I think one of the key links that I'm hearing here, and can speak from personal experience, is sort of the aha moment, the moment of self-discovery, the moment of you know, the rubber hitting the road where you have to look inside, whether it's by traveling the world and getting kicked out of countries, or becoming a gypsy, or, you know, embracing the true you. You know, for me personally, you know, had a very similar story. I was working in Hollywood as an entertainment attorney at a big movie studio. Thought it was the job of my dreams. I've been practicing for several years by that point, and this was kind of like, this is the dream job. This has to be it, because I'd invested so much time, life force, and identity into that experience, and yet I was miserable. And I got to a point where I said, you know what, I'm an artist. I'm a creator, and finally gave myself permission, which is, I think, is a common theme, giving ourselves permission to be the authentic fullness of who we were born on this planet to be. And shortly after that, I quit my job, met the love of my life, who is now my business partner, and began working in Hollywood as a TV host, and really allowing myself to be, you know, the personality and the communicator that I thought being a lawyer would allow me to be. And then that hit a dead end. You know, my agents were sending me out, you know, for cigarette commercials. You know what I mean? It's like, this is not the way that I want to inspire the world. I don't want to do Burger King ads, you know, can we send me some conscious work? And that was met with a lot of resistance, and a lot of other things started to sort of fall apart. You know, I'm living the life of my dreams, yet somehow, you know, the Hollywood dream was not the Hollywood dream. And so in a meditation, we decided to leave LA, fired my agent, and moved to Sedona, Arizona for a spiritual sabbatical, and took the time, and really was willing to walk the line and say, if I never go back, if, you know, all I do is become a massage therapist for the rest of my life, then my parents will be pissed off, you know. They got the degrees on the wall. You keep them. I don't want them anymore. You know, it's like, I did that, you know. And the funny thing is that it was there, by letting go, by stepping away, by unplugging from the matrix, as Michael and I call it, I was able to really connect to the voice that had kind of been shrouded by all the degrees and the houses and the cars and the Hollywood bling, and step into what it is that I came to this planet to do, which is raising consciousness through media. And it's funny, you know, when you walk away from things, that's when, you know, they say, let it go and it will find you. Well, that's exactly what happened to me in Sedona. And interestingly enough, we got involved in the TV world in Phoenix, which is about an hour-and-a-half drive from Sedona, and started producing conscious living segments, because we said, you know, the media business, part of the reason why I left the media business and left LA is because I felt that it wasn't conscious at all. It was all about sort of, you know, materialism and, you know, the me first mentality. And, you know, I really felt that there's an opportunity that I had, having been on both sides of the camera, to really bring more consciousness to media. And so that's where we launched Conscious Living TV, and it sort of evolved. And then from there, continuing to sort of break paradigms, which I think everyone here on this panel has done, and we're going to get into that in just a second. For us, it was really about walking away from sort of the traditional network TV model, which everyone says, this is what you need to do. Are you waiting to get greenlit? Are you waiting for them to put you on their channel? And it's like, well, why wait? Why sort of externalize your entire experience? Why externalize the success and put it in somebody else's hands? It's so disempowering. And so what we did is we decided to take advantage of the technology of the internet and launched our own internet channel, broadband channel. And it's, you know, airing to over 70 million viewers worldwide with an international syndication network. And to this day, when people say, do you want to be on network TV? I say, no, I'm happy. I'm happy on the internet, thank you. And with the convergence of technology, I think, you know, sort of being a pioneer in thinking differently, sometimes because you've been pushed out of the mainstream. And it really forces you to innovate. I'd love to hear some of you all's stories on, you know, what you see as the challenges right now in the current business model, the current business paradigm, and what you think some of the solutions are to that, and how you've sort of incorporated those solutions into your business. And I think that's what a lot of the people here in this room would like to hear, is how you're taking sort of a new approach to the way things have been done for years. So, Zhena?
my aha moment, because we're kind of combining the questions, the aha moment for me was when my son was born and had a very severe kidney birth defect and needed a major operation where he would be open. They needed to make basically an escape valve for pressure in his bladder, and it would remain that way for about 4.5 years. And for me, I was like, okay, well, I need to get a job where I can, support us both. I was a single mom, and I went out and tried to get a job where I could have Sage with me, and no one would hire me with a child, and he needed special care, and I wasn't about to put him in daycare. And so that was when I took a walk up in the mountains, and I said, okay, universe, God, show me what it is that I need to be doing. And the whole Gypsy tea idea came to me. I was a formulator. I had also written a book about my grandparents' Gypsy heritage and the story. And I said, oh my God, I can combine the culture of this amazing, nomadic, beautiful people with my formulating experience and put them together and make a company happen out of it. And soon thereafter, I started importing tea, and it was prior to fair trade being widespread. I think there was only one place that actually had fair trade certification, and UPS showed up with my first big crate of tea, and they brought it up the steps, and it was a big wooden crate. It was about 110 kilograms, and I opened up the lid, and I looked in it, and there was so much tea. And what I realized was that, I needed to be a spokesperson for the women who were plucking it. I had to ask the question, who made this? And I know it's certified organic, but what's the other half of this? I mean, who actually put the time in? And what I found was, it takes 2,000 plucks to produce 1 kilogram of tea. The average woman, she needs to pluck 8 kilos a day to make her $1.35. That's 16,000 individual ones of these. And I went over to India, and I went to Sri Lanka, and people were saying, oh, fair trade doesn't exist. Oh, it's a bunch of bull. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. And I went and I met the women, and I realized the infant mortality rates in a lot of these gardens was up around 70%. And what was happening was that these women were plucking this tea. They were working as hard as they could to make this quota, to make $1.35 to feed the average 6 to 7 dependents that they had on this. And I thought, well, I have to dedicate my life to this because it was what I was going through. No one would hire me with a sick baby. Who was looking out for them? So I decided to dedicate my entire company to that. And the challenge was, at the time, was that, the importers didn't want to do the paperwork, so I did it for them. And now, they market themselves as the fair trade tea importers because, 7 years later, we're fair, it's a big deal. But, back then it was like, I said, okay, I'll do your audit paperwork, I'll do this, I'll do that. I don't care. I have to, I've dedicated my life to this. And what's amazing about, the challenges and also the aha moments that led all of us to the roles we're currently playing in business and tying sustainability and spirituality into business is that, there are challenges with now all of a sudden it's a green economy and everybody's doing the green thing, but it's a lot of hype. And, the goal is to really make your company, symbolize, we symbolize hope, not hype. And that's kind of the mantra we have with our staff. It's like, it's hope, not hype, guys, because they go, well, God, our margins aren't big enough for certain things. You put too much berries in the berry tea. Everyone else is using berry flavor. Yeah. We could be making so much money if we did this, and you look and you go, but we have to symbolize something greater. We have to do something better. We have to be, the hope, not hype thing. So I think that's one of the big challenges is really kind of finding a way for your company, as entrepreneurs and as business owners and people in corporate America to actually find your mission within the business, something you can get behind and then infiltrate, if you're in a corporation, infiltrate the corporation with the mission and the dream rather than going, oh, it's a great market, we better slap some green on this. Yeah. And that's where right now I think authenticity, and Max speaks so well to that. It's really, business is about authenticity right now, and consumers can feel the vibration. If I said it's 3 o'clock right now, you could tell I'm not telling the truth. There's some wrongness in it. But I think that consumers today are really looking for somebody who's going to speak to them authentically and really be a human being and approach it with consciousness. So I think that's one of the challenges that corporations face today.
Beautifully said. Yeah.